Welcome to the Slade Ham Experiment. I'm your host, your captain, your pilot, your Sherpa, your seeing eye dog through the galaxy. My midnight spaceship, very red tonight. I'm in a good mood. I was on the phone earlier today with a friend of mine, and I realized we're just catching up. Somebody I don't talk to all the time anymore. And just, how's things? What's going on? What's up? And when it got to be my turn, it's always them first, and then eventually you get a word in. But I realized I didn't have a single. Usually, I'm a complaint machine. Here's what's got me all razzed. Here's what makes my lights red. I realized today, I was like, you know what? I think my life is pretty perfect. I mean, it was a big realization when you think about the main elements in your life, right? Whatever the big factors are, whatever your 6 or 7 things are. I've talked about that in the past. The things you can and cannot pay attention to. How many things you can hold in your attention? It's 6 or 7. That's what we can handle as humans. It's a different conversation I had with my buddy Trey on the way back from Kerrville. I'll revisit that because we had a metaphor for it. I'll see if I can get to it. But when it comes to the things you're focused on, if the 6 big ones or so are right, you're in pretty good shape. Usually they're not for me. And for a very good time in my life right now, they are. So cheers to the good things in life, to not being on Threads, the latest social media platform to beg for your attention. Did you join? Did you do it? If you did, feel free to drop your thread in the comment. What is it called? Your thread handle? I don't know that we need a new. This is the one I drew the line on. I sat with it for a minute because I've been playing these social media games for a hot minute. And this really does lead into, I'm going to break down exactly why I'm doing some of the things I'm doing the way I am in a little bit more detail in regards to my comedy special. But I want to get there by the road of threads because it was a siren song, right? New social media platform comes out, promises to be the fastest growing platform, all these promises. And I recall when I started doing stand-up, I started in 2000. None of this existed. There was no internet. There was an internet, but there was no. I think I got my first website in 2000. Wow. Hang on. When did my first site come out? 2000. I remember the first update was 2005. That was a big cosmetic change, which means my first one had to have been 2003 maybe. Had a UBB, Ultimate Bulletin Board or whatever it was. Had my schedule on it. I posted all my rants. So I was doing that in the 2000s, and I remember trying to recruit traffic to the UBB, right? That was the place where the activity happened. People would sign up, and then they'd comment and talk back and forth, and it was a discussion board. So I would do that, and then MySpace reared its head, 2004, 2005, whenever that was. And I started to navigate those waters. And I was like, oh, well, if you can just get famous on here, then that will translate to the real world. Dane Cook was our patient zero for that. Look what he did. And then we all began to chase it. Now, just like any other social media platform, it only gave out lottery tickets. No one really won. Handful of people did really well. Even me, I was top of the blogosphere or whatever. Nothing practical came out of it for me. And then all the platforms start coming out. You start to get Twitter and Facebook and all the others, and the race, Instagram, YouTube. The race is on to be the best, the biggest, have the most following on all of them. And every time one of them gets dethroned, a new one comes in, and you have to roll the dice on whether or not it's going to be good or not. Foursquare, whatever, pick your platform, Vine. And then if you do build up a following there, you run the risk of the whole thing disappearing. Google Plus, anybody? So I think we have to look at a couple of things when these new platforms come out. I'm going to tell you what I considered. One, it's unfinished. That's the main thing. I think it's very telling in this day and age that nothing, television shows, movies, none of them make a full commitment to us, and we should hold them to a higher standard. Don't give me your half-finished beta program. Don't limp it out here in the hopes that, oh, if it works, then we'll follow through with everything else. Direct messaging, a desktop version, hashtags, keywords, search functions, all the things you would program in to a platform if you had any faith in it sticking around for a while. But we got this soft, limp-wristed attempt at a Twitter clone. Come on. Join Threads. Why? Give me one good reason. Everybody's there. Everybody's everywhere. That's part of the problem. Tell me nobody's there, and maybe I'll come. We've misweighted these platforms. Twitter, deeply. All the rage behind Threads is that they were the first to, they reached 100 million active users faster than anything, which is unprecedented, except it was just busted recently by ChatGPT. So we're having unprecedented moments. They're just moments at this point. But the question is why, and the question is what, and the question is, why do we put so much value on 100 million people? That's only, it's a third of the United States, but it's a tiny little percentage point of the global population. Twitter only had 240 million monetizable daily users as of July 2022. That's the last time they reported their stats. Mastodon, a competitor, mainly in the science field, I think, has about 7 million users, almost 8 million. But apparently only 2 million of them actively use the service. Now, other competitors, Blue Sky, you may have heard about. It's backed by Jack Dorsey. He was a co-founder of Twitter, wasn't he? They've got just about 250,000 people signed up with a 2 million person waiting list. I know local rappers with those numbers. This isn't impressive. Truth Network, if you want to go far to the right, 607,000 users. Yet these are the platforms that we give all the say-so. Judge, jury, executioner. Twitter, 240 million people globally. Would sound impressive. Oh, that's almost all of America. Except they're not all Americans. I don't have the demographic stats. But I can confidently tell you that that's not 240 million Americans. That's globally. And there's a lot of global people. So why do we give these things so much weight? Why do we assign them all this weight, these little microspheres of humanity? When someone chirps on Twitter, we fire them, we dismantle them, we cancel their film, we recast them, we rewrite them. All that jazz that doesn't really last long. It isn't really real either. But that's the response. Quick, fire, get rid of them, clean everything up. Lysol the blood, then let's move on with our holier-than-thou selves. But I believe people are catching on to this. I think we've finally gone, oh, wait a second. That's not everybody. That's just some people. And I know this because I don't have this article pulled up. I giggled and I checked it in about 4 or 5 different places to make sure it was real. There's an organization that has made a move. That's why I giggled. To refer for the trans community to refer to vaginas as bonus holes, to not be offensive. Now, I know this is all hilarious to me because it got snapped back by someone who was in an organization, the LGB. They had omitted the T from their organization. They were just there to speak for the gay people, and they were like, "This is wrong." You've got this weird infighting, and I say all of that to say that these little pockets are starting to realize maybe they don't know, maybe they all shouldn't collide. Maybe we should all be aware of them. but not live in them, not swim in them, not stay in these spaces that don't apply, I guess, would be the right thing, right? So to go back to the 6 or 7 things, what you can focus on. And I talk about how you got to choose them, right? If you don't choose them, they choose you. But you can also misappropriate your attention. You got to put glasses on every day you walk out of the house. This is Trey and I, Trey Tudson, good buddy of mine. We did Kerrville, Texas. We did a show. I'm working on the special. He's helping me write some stuff. We had a 4-hour drive home after the show. Got home at like 2-something in the morning. We never shut up the whole ride. It was so good to talk comedy with a comic. But we kind of got to this glasses metaphor where he was like, you know what? Yeah, we do. We put on glasses every day to filter out certain things, right? Sometimes you can't read. You got to filter out your bad eyesight. You need something that makes the words readable to your eyes, that gets rid of the extraneous, tightens the aperture, makes you see with some clarity. You walk outside and it's too bright. It's overwhelming. Oh, God, I can't see. What do? You put on sunglasses. Blocks out the harmful rays. The too bright stuff allows you to see the things you're trying to see. You're not just stumbling blindly into the light. It's too much light. What am I going to do? I'm blind. Which is what people seem to be doing in the real world. They're not putting on any sunglasses at all. They're just taking the sun straight to the face and then going, I don't understand why you people like your sun so bright. Bro, just put some glasses on, brother. Know what I mean? They're showing something in 3D. You got to put on the reds and blues to filter out the reds and blues so that your eye can make a composite image. And without that, it's just a jumbly mess of colors. You need your glasses. Sometimes you need a welded helmet to block out the bullshit. But the point is, everybody's got to put their little set of glasses on, and everybody gets to decide what 6 lenses go in that pair of glasses. And these places like Twitter, and Mastodon, and Blue Sky, and Truth, and now Threads, these things amplify the wrong signal to my eyes. They send me the wrong messages. They invite me to engage in the wrong conversation. They trick me into caring about the wrong things. And I just don't want to be that person or live in that world. So no, I'm not getting on Threads. If it ends up being what breaks me, if it ends up costing me my career, so be it. That will be one less place you notice me gone from. Not doing it. All right. I've had a lot of questions about my approach, what I'm doing. Why are you doing it this way? Why aren't you on any of these social platforms? Why aren't you doing shorts? Why aren't you doing these things? Gotcha. All right, I hear you. Here's my answer. Let me answer one other question first. There were a couple that came in. I promise I'd answer at least a couple of these. The main ones center around the special, and that's what I want to get to. Here we go. You know what? Oh, man, Wade, I owe you this answer. Kratos versus Wonder Woman. Who wins? Kratos, because some woman hasn't ruined his filmography yet. That's why. Does he get to fight Wonder Woman 1980, whatever that was? He will break her head off and eat her spine like a popsicle. What is this woman doing here, boy? Why are we in this mall? Kingston asks, what do you do for stress management? He asked this question. I think he knows the answer to this question. I play Fortnite. It's my therapy. I think I did a whole episode on this. Did I do an episode on this? I should talk. I could do an entire episode on how Fortnite applies to life in positive ways. I should take this message to schools. Like an elementary school TED Talk. I play a lot of video games. I probably do a whole episode on here too about RPGs. I'm deep into the new Final Fantasy. So the question is this: why do I not take the approach that everyone else is taking. In fact, a great many of my friends, I talk about Jerry Wayne Longmire, he's having fantastic success. I know a lot of comics doing well with shorts. So why am I not doing that? One, I hate it. It's not me. Makes my soul hurt. I don't think in short term. I don't think like that. But aside from just the general desire to not be unhappy, okay, which we all seem to be willing to swallow with such gusto. Oh, I'll just eat it. I don't care. I'll be unhappy as long as I'm doing what I love to do. It's not what you love to do. I like looking at the battlefield, man, and I like to go where the enemy is not. I don't want to call them the enemy, but other comics are competition to a certain extent. I'm competing for eyeballs. I'm competing for attention. If I ask you who your favorite comic is, there's only so many people you can keep in your head before you don't come up with another person, right? I don't want to be at the end of that list. I want to be at the top of that list. And to do that, I can't compete with these knuckleheads. I used to do comedy contests, and I'm not good at them. I've never come in higher than third. I lost to Chase DeRusso, who caught lightning in a bottle the night we did it at the Laugh Stop. And I mean, I told these stories too. They dropped the check right as I was about to go up. Then they did the night. I came in third, but I beat Kristen Linder, and she had to pay me with a sack full of nickels. All those things, right? So third place is the best I've ever come in because it's short form. That's not what I do. Now, in the long form, you got to look at your industry. You got to look at what you're doing, what you're capable of doing. You want to play to your biggest strength. That's where the least competition is. All the competition is at the bottom, making shorts and little skits and filming crowd work and all the things. You can capture that in an open mic. You need no validation to go get what they're getting. But if you go to Wikipedia and look under American comedians, there's only 512 comics listed. That number's much higher than that by the time you factor in TikTok. 512 doesn't encompass everybody. I'd bet there's another 500 whose names aren't listed. Out of those comics, 35 of them released specials on Netflix between January and July. That's just Netflix. But if you count them all, and I mean YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, pick your poison. Hour-long specials. This is compiled by a Substack author named Piffany. You can go look at that. She includes the dry bars, the half hours. If you include those, the number's 182. That puts you on pace, if I've done my math properly, about 500 specials this year. 500 full-length specials. Now, you're already in pretty good odds. You got a 0.2% chance of a random draw, right? If you throw a special out into those 500. You got a 0.2 chance just by showing up. But of those specials, call them 500, half of those this year aren't specials. They're 3-camera shoots. They're in a club. They're live recordings. They're certainly productions. But to call them specials, Trey and I had that conversation too about what constitutes a special. So half of them of that caliber or below, just in production quality. And then of your other half that are shot incredibly well, look at your big Netflix specials. Look at the things. You know what a good big special in a theater looks like. That's what I'm shooting. So of the well-produced ones, where do you fall in the quality of comedy and the quality of performance? So what I've done is I've looked at this math and I've realized that the least competitive pool, right? If you look at this, a big bay. A lot of little big boats out there. A lot of jet skis zipping around, little sailboats, little dinghies. There's a lot of big yachts. Chris Rock, Bill Burr, Jim Jeffries, those dudes got yachts. I want a big boat. I want to be one of those boats in the bay. And you don't get there by flitting in on a jet ski. You get there by getting a yacht. So this special, shot properly, should be a bit of a yacht. And the thought process there is that we're dealing with variables I can now control. Look at TikTok. Look at Instagram. Look at these certain things. What variables can you control? Right? The content itself. All right. But I assume you're making good content. You can go in and change the jumpiness of the video, zooms in, jump cuts, make it faster, add all the stuff. You can add the subtitles. You can add a good thumbnail. All those things you can control, but I would argue that those aren't artistic. That's where you want to spend your time. That's not where I want to spend mine. That's not what I want to do. I don't want to wake up and figure out how to optimize a under 60-second video in the name of being able to do long-form comedy somewhere down the line, because I feel like the audience is not even going to know what I do by the time they get to me. But if I do a big special up front, then any of the little stuff I do can funnel you back to me. Then you can find, because I've spent the time seeding my channel with content, with over 30 Slade runners from around the world, with whatever this nonsense is, where I try and sort out my head every single week. But then stand-up clips and my books and the things that I want to do, because the thing that will have drawn you in will be because you saw the yacht on the bay and not the flitty little jet ski. I'm trying to enter on a higher floor. Now, will this work? Who knows? I could be a year from now, which is an interesting thought experiment. Because by then, the special will be shot. The special will be produced. The special will have distribution. It will be out. It'll be interesting to see what my calendar looks like in July of 2024 versus 2023. Right now, it's a downhill tumble to the special, and then after that, I'm leaving some space open, going to Chile. I'm going to breathe. I'll start booking 2024 heavily based on how this does. So it will be interesting to see what happens. I'm excited. I've put the last final touches on it, and I'm taking some new ideas to Canada. I will work through everything else there. So much to do, and I still got to fill the room up. August 19th, match, the Midtown Arts and Theater Center in Houston. Join me, will you? Tickets are available at sladeham.com. We sell the first show out by August 1st. We're adding a second show. All sorts of excitement. Was there anything else I wanted to talk about, talk over with at all? No. MCU's Secret Invasion is terrible. They should. All right. No, the rest of this is all junk. I should get out of here. It's been fun. Go check me out, sladeham.com. All my shows are there. The special's going to be banging. I'm going to promise you that you'll be able to see it somewhere, even if it's just here. It's a good time to end. The train horns have begun. The galaxy gets busy this time of night. So stick around. I'll see you on another episode of the Slade Ham Experiment soon.